Welcome back to Section 4 Fans. Today we're bringing the latest takeaways from the NHL and NBA draft lotteries. Plus, we've got more reactions, takes, and storylines from around the sports world before wrapping things up the way we always do. So let's get into it. Pretty exciting weekend for me. Got to watch a lot of NBA, NHL, and definitely UFC on Saturday night. That was a huge card, and it definitely delivered. Any initial thoughts, Carter, before we dive into the draft lotteries?
Absolutely rigged NHL draft lottery. Hold on. First off, Eric Johnson is in between the glass tonight for the Wild game. I hate listening to Eric Johnson. He talks so much and says the most pointless stuff ever. Sorry. Wild game is about to be on. That's why have it on
Yeah,
right above me. Um, how rigged that NHL draft is.
yeah,
Toronto. Toronto
yeah.
gets the first overall pick. Yeah, bullshit. It and San Jose gets second. Another BS thing ever. Just creating.
Who did you think? Did you think it was going to be Chicago or the Rangers getting
I
that first pick, or
well, according to the odds, it was supposed to be according
Vancouver?
to Vancouver.
Yeah,
They weren't
yeah,
sending a first overall pick to Vancouver.
but no, they've already sent one west-ish in McDavid, so
Well,
they don't want
and
another one going to a shit
and
Canadian
and
team.
and Celebrini went
Yeah.
west as well, but him and Smith paired up together is actually worked out really well.
Yeah, I thought the Sharks were possibly going to get that. I think that would have been interesting for a small market team like San Jose to have the number one overall pick. Obviously, they're going with Gavin McKenna. Really, anyone is. Doesn't matter which team.
Yeah.
So him and Celebrini, I think that would have been a pretty good young duo there in San Jose. But obviously, the Maple Leafs got the first pick here
Yeah.
for this
Hold on.
upcoming draft.
Maple Leafs jump 4 picks. Sharks jump 7 picks. And according to the odds the rest of the way, just normal as usual. Nothing out of sorts.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the rumor is that these are always going to be a little bit rigged. Any draft lottery, I'm sure we'll dive into it a bit here once we get over to the NBA, into that lottery, because I think there was some interesting activities that went on there. But yeah, it's always weird seeing the team that usually has the worst record. They quite often don't have the number one overall pick.
Except for the Wizards.
Well, they weren't even. I don't know. Were they?
I'm
They were
looking
the
at
worst team,
I'm looking at
I believe.
percentage odds. They were tied with Indiana and Brooklyn for the first overall pick at 14%.
Yeah,
But record wise, they have the worst record of all.
yeah, and I mean that's the thing with like these lotteries, rather than just the NFL, just by record. There's no draft lottery there, so it's always interesting because you could tank all year or just be asked for years, and you may not get a number one overall pick, or I know we're on hockey here, or it ends up being like the Atlanta Hawks and that whole situation. They got the first overall pick finally, but it was the worst draft class. Like literally, no one wanted the number one overall pick that year because
Yeah.
it wasn't very hyped up. So I think there's different things that can happen between a lottery and just a record based draft like the NFL does, and every league kind of does it differently. But I was a little bit surprised with Toronto getting the number one overall
I
pick.
mean,
Um,
knew it
I
was
think
gonna
they're
happen.
yeah, I think it's just trying to
Uh,
get that market
Superstar.
lively. They already got Austin Matthews,
I think
so
that also gives an opportunity for the Maple Leafs to move on from Matthews.
you think they'll move on him right away or
It's
a
just
couple
an
years?
it's an opportunity to start a new chapter at the organization. Um, I'm not saying Matthews is a bad player. I just think Toronto's a tough
Every
place.
organization usually moves on from their superstars eventually.
T- Toronto, the Toronto Maple Leafs is like I'm trying to think of what in basketball who has a horrible like the reporters always bash on the players. Like paparazzi all around the players. I'd assume like the Lakers
Yeah,
or maybe the Knicks.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
It's
Celtics. Like,
like I'm trying to think of like because like when Matthews went with the team to Miami, the USA team, he was getting bashed by the media
yeah,
in Toronto like nonstop.
yeah.
And
I think that's definitely kind of that area. Um, I mean, that's any New York fan
well,
base. They're
it's what
always,
the team revolves around in Toronto
yeah,
is the Maple Leafs.
yeah. Especially with regions where there's really, one professional sport. Everyone in that city or
Hmm.
relatively close by is going absolutely crazy for that sport, for that team. Um, so yeah, I'm not too sure what Toronto's gonna do there. I'd like to see him play with Matthews for a couple years,
Oh
but
no, they will, but I'm
maybe
just
maybe they
saying
do move on from him,
it gives the opportunity because
or now is Toronto. I mean, Canadian teams are probably not appealing to the eye as a free agent, but would now Toronto be one of the
Toronto,
top places
Toronto's
for
always
this
been
offseason? For this
Toronto's always
offseason, would a lot of good players be more willing to give Toronto a look?
I mean, Canadian teams have always been like let Toronto, for example, has always been a good spot for free agents. Like if you look at Tavares, gets to go home and play in front of his family, uh, closer to home for a lot of guys as well. Toronto isn't afraid to spend big money on big superstars or aging superstars, I should say. Um, so free agent landing spot, if you want to get paid, Toronto is not the place to go. But if you want to play with good players and willing to take a pay cut to try and do something, keyword try,
Yeah,
Toronto's a good place to go. But
yeah.
like you won't see Calgary or Vancouver or Ottawa
Edmonton.
kind Edmonton.
If they spend poorly. That's
I
all I'll
mean, you
say.
have two of the best players in the NHL in Draisaitl and McDavid.
You get
You
bounced out the first round. Okay,
but
that's what I'm talking
but
about.
it's impossible to be like, yeah, we'll let McDavid walk. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I'm
think.
saying?
Yeah,
It's
I think
how do you
they
do
they
that?
eat. Well, I mean,
It's like
they
the
they
Chiefs. It's
well
like
they
the
kind of
Chiefs
did it with
saying,
Gretzky, bro, back in the day.
but but Gretzky won his cups at Edmonton.
Yeah, no,
He
yeah,
he
no,
he was
that
ready
that's
for
the
a new
thing.
chapter. He did what he needed to do in Edmonton. It's like the Chiefs, not even the Chiefs saying moving on, saying like, yeah, we'll let Mahomes walk
It'd
because
be like the
Mahomes has done
Bills.
it.
It'd be like the Bills
The
having Josh
Bills,
Allen walk, a
yeah,
team that has
like
been able to get to the pinnacle or damn near, and high expectations year in year out, arguably one of the best players in the league, and you just can't get over that hump. Yeah,
just yeah. Well, yeah, sure. You can explore free agency. No, they're gonna do everything possible to keep him. And the same with Draisaitl. Draisaitl is such a natural goal scorer, and if you watch Draisaitl play, I feel like just to an average hockey fan, they're gonna say he's not that special. And oh my gosh, the Minnesota Twins are at the game. Oh my God, sorry, caught my eye. I just pissed me off seeing the Twins at the game. But like to the naked eye, I feel like people wouldn't think Draisaitl's a good hockey player, but he's up there for top five in the league, probably.
yeah. No, I'd definitely say he's probably a top five player in the league. Um, kind of, you don't really see in hockey at least. I feel like it's hard in comparison to other sports to really have like a super team or like a full blown rebuild in a way. Whereas like the NBA, excuse me, whereas in the NBA you'll see teams tank, 2 3 years and like look at the Thunder for example, they tanked They were horrible. They got a couple top picks. It paid off. Like I feel like you don't really see that in the NHL. So would there be a way that Edmonton moves on from McDavid or Draisaitl, or would the whole thing you would just have to blow the whole ship up?
Well, the thing is that if you can't trade McDavid because
Well,
what's his trade value?
couple picks.
No, but like seriously, what's his trade value? It would have to be like an unheard like if you look at what the
Okay,
Wild get
I think they.
look at what the Wild gave up for Quinn Hughes. It's a struggling Vancouver team, right? Bottom of the league. And Vancouver gives up Hughes, I think a pick or someone else for um Zeev Byam, young defenseman,
Yeah,
and then
so the Wild got Quinn Hughes, and in return, the Canucks got Marco
Zeev
Rossi,
Rossi.
Liam Ogren, Zeev, a 2026 first round.
And that's for Quinn Hughes. And that
Yeah.
is arguably
So
I'd say top two defenseman in the NHL, Quinn Hughes. Him and
right behind Kale
Kale.
McCarr.
I'd say him and McCarr are 1A, 1B. I would even say that
They're
if Hughes wasn't on the Wild, I'd say the same exact thing.
yeah,
They're
I
1A,
think
1B.
yeah. Just from what I've seen, I feel like if you're looking at all it takes for like a defenseman in the NHL, I think the perfect person's Cal McCarr. I think Quinn Hughes is like there, but if you like had to start a franchise, I feel like a lot of GMs and a lot of people are probably going to go with Kel McCarr.
I still think it's 1A, 1B, just because I was saying it when Quinn Hughes was on Vancouver.
Yeah.
They're the top two guys in the NHL, and they will be the top two guys in the NHL for the next 5, 10 years easily.
Yeah, you know it. I guess taken away from a smaller market per se in Vancouver.
hmm No one really watched Quinn
Yeah,
Hughes up in
yeah.
Vancouver.
That's
The
also the
only
thing
time
is
you
the
would
a
see
lot
him
of West
is
Coast teams they struggle with getting. I feel like league wide notability in
Mhm.
terms of fans because a lot of fans that aren't on the West Coast. I mean, there's a good few, especially with majority
Oh,
of the teams
sorry.
being in the Northeast and the South and whatnot. So I feel like those small market teams and specifically on the West, I feel like they struggle in those departments. So
It's just
I
not
do think
hockey
I think
areas.
it adds to a limelight of getting Quinn Hughes over to a slightly bigger market in Minnesota. And obviously they've been good over the past couple of years, so I think that's just getting him more into the limelight. But yeah, I think those two guys are definitely going to be the top two defensemen for years to come.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, but I just don't think you can trade McDavid because what do you trade him for? I
Yeah.
think they would have to restructure his deal into something shorter and just let him walk, unfortunately, at the end of the day. Or you put in an offer to try and match wherever he wants to go.
Yeah, it's always tough when you have the best player or one of the best players and you're trying to trade or let them walk and for them, if you respect the player like McDavid, I don't feel like they would send him to whoever like whoever was horrible this year.
Well,
I
no,
don't think they'd send McDavid to like
it's
Calgary. You know what I mean?
wherever McDavid wants to go because
Yeah.
if you're trading for McDavid or if you're trading for any superstar, you're trading for them to sign an extension,
Yeah. That
right?
and also like as a GM, you would want to kind of put McDavid in a position where he feels he can succeed with whatever goals he has, but also you're not kind of hindering your future as a franchise
hmm
too, which I think becomes difficult trying to piece together trades for these top of the line guys. I think that's when you go back a couple of years ago here, different sport, same concept there. Angels having Shohei Ohtani, his contract was up. A lot of rumors they were going to trade him. A lot of people wanted him to be traded. But
But
like,
what do you trade him
but
for?
what would you trade Otani for? I mean, that man can do it all. Um, kind of similar
You try.
to what McDavid does for the Oilers. So they let him walk and just signs a mega
Well,
deal.
it was it. Did they even put up an offer for him?
I mean, probably not at the end of the day because they
But
probably saw what the Dodgers went and went, oh yeah,
yeah,
we're good.
but I'm sure they still put up an offer. And at the end of the day, it's either for those big superstars, it's either you try and
Keep
trade them,
struggling
you
with a
try
little
and
bit
tr
more money.
you try and trade them and have no effort in re-signing them in the offseason, or you at least have a shot at re-signing them. It's a tough call at the end of the day. But I think for a player that's been there for a while, you let him walk instead of trying to trade him somewhere.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Crosby at the trade deadline, everyone thought the Pens were going to trade Crosby at the end of the day, but they didn't. They held on to him, made the playoffs still,
Put up a
and
fight.
yeah. But the thing is that if Crosby moved on from Pittsburgh, he's done his what he's needed to do there.
Yeah. And you just end up on a little Corey Perry tour and just bounce around until
No,
your skates
Cros
give up.
Crosby's too good of a player to be on a Corey Perry tour.
He's made plenty of finals. He just can't win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this time of the year is always interesting with all these draft lotteries coming up. The other big one that happened over the past week was the NBA draft
hmm
lottery, and this one was very surprising to me. Um,
Well, the first overall pick was guaranteed. Well, like it was the same.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we know it's Washington. I didn't think Washington was going to get the pick. I honestly thought it was probably going to be like Chicago or Utah. Um, but obviously Utah's two, Memphis
Well,
three, Chicago four.
Chicago jumped 5 spots.
Yeah, and which makes this interesting is the Clippers have that pick from Indiana at pick five because it was only top like four protected. So the Indiana Pacers had like the
They
fourth
dropped
worst
three
record.
picks.
Yeah, they had the worst record, like one of the
So
worst records in the
NBA
NBA.
NBA
And
said you have Halliburton. You have
yeah, and he's
Halliburton.
coming.
You can
He's
keep
coming
him.
back. So everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to get Peterson. This is going to be
Yeah,
amazing with
it's
Hallie."
sick
And
team.
they go, "Yeah, nope. Actually, you get pick five, and it's going to the Clippers instead." So now the Clippers gave up Zubac to the Pacers, and in return they got Benedict Mathurin,
Wait, so hold on.
another player, this first, and I want to say a 2029 first and a second round as well.
So when did they give up Zubac?
At the trade deadline, the Clippers
Oh,
gave.
okay. Okay.
And they only protected this pick for like a top four pick. And because it wasn't in the top four, then the Clippers get it this year.
And the Thunder have another lottery pick.
Um,
They have the Clippers at 12.
yeah.
And then
But at least hopefully it's later. Hopefully Sam Presti can read the wrong scouting report or something this year. But yeah, so I just think that whole LA Clipper Pacers thing is quite disappointing, especially with him changing the lottery rules on the anti-taking, whatever, so to speak, for the next upcoming draft lotteries. But it's interesting that a team with like the fourth worst record can fall out of a top three, top four pick, and then they don't even end up getting that pick as well this draft. I
so
think it's yeah.
there's a website that I was looking at for it's called Tankathon, and
hmm
you can send the lottery. And I just send it one time for fun. Thunder get the first overall pick.
Yeah, see, even websites wouldn't have been so skeptical with the Thunder somehow getting in to top one, top three pick there. Yeah, the Thunder look like they're going to come out with another pretty loaded draft class. They got pick 12 from the Clippers, and they also have where was this? Pick 17 from Philly. So that's kind of middle of the board guys that they can use to rebuild, revamp their team. Obviously, with those cheaper contracts, that's going to help them stay under the cap. But I do think this offseason, the one
Who
after, we're going to see some of their vets walk away,
who are some
which
of the
would
guys
be
you think
like
will have
Isaiah
to walk away?
Hartenstein, Lou Dort. Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, I think Caruso, all three of those guys could be moved. They're older and they're younger players. They can boost into the lineup, cheaper contracts. They already have so much money going to their big three that they can't really afford the money of Lou Dort or Hartenstein,
And their big
especially
three is
Chet
SGA,
Williams.
Chet, and
Yeah.
Williams.
So Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how they revamp that. Obviously, with their abundance of draft picks, I think they could be not in a bad spot in terms of keeping that bench depth, keeping good rotations there. The other kind of good one to note here is Atlanta got pick 8 from the
Oh
Pelicans.
my gosh.
So the Pelicans don't even have their draft pick this year.
Yeah, I
They
saw
used it. They
that.
used it to move up to get Derek Queen, and I don't think that has really panned out so far.
Dairy
So
Queen's
now, so
young.
now Atlanta has a top 8 pick, which could be huge to boost maybe some guard help, being that they got rid of Trey Young and C.J. McCollum is also older in his career, so maybe they grab a late guard there in the top 10 picks. But
I mean, if you look
yeah,
at Dairy Queen, I mean, for 21 years old, 11.7 points, 7 rebounds per game on a struggling,
it
lost identity Pelicans team.
but it just wasn't a good. It didn't end up being a good move for them because
They lost
what
this year's draft pick.
yeah, they lost this year's draft pick and they were ass.
Hmm.
That's kind of the main reason. Derek Queen could probably still end up panning out for them, but they gave up that in order to move up in last year's and they get him. I don't think it was really what they envisioned, but to be honest, I don't think anyone knows what the Pelicans are doing anyway. So who knows what's going to happen with that franchise? I think with some of these teams getting pretty high picks and some questionable stars that were stars on the team, like Memphis with pick 3 here.
Mm.
And I feel like there's a lot of good guards in this draft. I'm not too familiar with what Memphis needs, but they also have had some problems with Ja Morant or whatever. He has not really been playing, hasn't been himself since all of the live streams and whatnot. So maybe they move on from Ja Morant. Maybe
Mhm.
they try and get additional draft capital for this draft, or maybe they just bring in just some players to help out that money. Why is that way? So maybe they do end up getting a good guard there. So I think that could be interesting.
Who who do you
Sacramento at 7 is kind of a bad deal too. That's another franchise in a bad spot. A lot of bad deals, a lot of expiring contracts. They basically are the Chicago Bulls from a couple years ago. Just vets really.
and Sacramento is not a pleasing place to
Oh,
go.
that's not a free agency frenzy. No one's hopping on the plane to get to Sacramento as fast as they
You got to
can.
pay a little extra money to someone
Um,
to get to Sacramento.
yeah, I think yeah. So personally, I just think looking at this draft lottery in this order, I think the 3 teams I'm going to be looking out to see what they do in this off season. I'm going to be Memphis. I just kind of want to see what they do. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis ends up relocating somewhere else around the same time that the proposed expansion teams come into the league. I believe around 2028. So I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis moves to maybe a Nashville, something like that. Um,
So I was when I was in Nashville, I was actually talking about this, and they were talking about the Predators moving to Memphis because there's just they don't think because they want a new arena or something.
yeah.
Bridgestone looks beautiful on the
Oh,
outside.
it's awesome, but the thing is, it's
Looks
literally like
amazing.
in downtown, so they can't really tear it down.
Exactly.
They'll have to do what the Titans have done, and like they have their old stadium, but they're building a new one, basically like
Yeah.
right next to it. It'll have to be something like that. But that would be interesting if the Predators do move and they try and make Memphis more of a sport capital in the state of
Oh my gosh,
Tennessee.
McCarron is challenging the whole Colorado Avalanche bench right now. He is irate.
Got to set the tone in the game
Well,
4 of the
he
cup,
got
man.
cross-checked in the head and he's like pissed. He hit a guy, went down to the ice, and then so he knobbed him. So in hockey, you got the knob on your top hand, right? Sticking out a little bit, and the dude knobbed him straight in the face. Sorry, off topic from the podcast, but
No, you're good. Um,
oh, that's
Yeah, I
cheap.
think it'll be interesting to see what happens with that whole kind of sport identity in Tennessee. I would think they stay
I
in Nashville and they move to Nashville. It's no one's traveling to Memphis.
It's just
People
not enough
people when
space in Nashville.
yeah,
That's what people were saying is that
it'll
like
probably have to
where are
be
they gonna put
outdoor,
it?
like outside city limits, and they'll
Yeah.
just be called Nashville anyways. Um,
Question. Is the first overall pick solidified?
Yeah, it's Washington. The only way they lose it is
No,
if they trade.
I'm saying player wise, do you think
Um,
it's solidified?
People think Washington still goes AJ DeBonsa, but um, I don't know. I feel like Memphis has a lot of young. Not Memphis,
Memphis.
Washington.
Don't they have Trey Young?
Yeah, they got Trey Young. They have Anthony Davis. They have Alex Sars. They have Balil Koulibaly, and
This is gonna be a
they
decent
got
team.
Keontae George. So I feel like they kind of have some decent size. I don't. I think Utah is going to do everything they can to try and get in the middle of this and make sure AJ DeBonsa goes to the Jazz.
The Mormon stays Mormon.
That is what I think is going to happen. Whether they just kind of just flip flop with Washington, or Washington just doesn't pick AJ DeBonsa. I think he goes to the Jazz. I think maybe Washington. I don't really know what they need, but yeah, I don't know.
So it's not solidified.
No, it's
That's all
not
we have to say.
solidified. Basically, the top three guys are either going to be DeBonsa, Carlos, or not Carlos, Boozer, not Carlos Boozer. He'd be old as hell coming back in, and Peterson out of
Okay.
Kansas. So those are the
Okay.
top three guys. I think it kind of fluctuates after that. You get a little bit of Darius Acuff. You get a little bit of Keontae Wagler out of Illinois.
Acuff.
I really like Acuff.
I love Acuff.
I'm hoping he goes somewhere where he can thrive, and he doesn't go to like Sacramento. I think that would just be disappointing. Sacramento has had
You
enough
want to watch
guards.
him. You want to watch him
Sacramento,
on a
yeah.
Thursday night.
You want to watch him. You don't
him.
want to watch him on League Pass. You know what I mean? And that's the worst thing to happen for the league, for his career, to go to Sacramento, because what has Sacramento done with all of their guards? Halliburton traded him away after year one. Oh,
Fox.
now he's the star in Indiana. Oh, Fox, yeah, you were great for our team. We'll just give you down to Wimby. And then they even had Davion Mitchell, who they just threw away to the Heat. So I mean, they've had their chances with guards, and now they're like, oh, we need guards. Well, maybe you shouldn't have traded away all of your guards.
Acuff,
So
what is he going to go 5'6"?
I I I don't see him
Depending
going.
his
I don't see
pending his
Acuff going.
combine.
I don't see Acuff going outside or like any. I don't think he's top three. I think he's earliest at four. With Chicago, I think Washington. If I had to be honest, I'd say Washington either goes with Boozer or Peterson. The Bonsa to Utah. Memphis gets the other. Um, since they're both kind of forwards, I think if Washington or Memphis need them, it's just whoever's available. And then the rest will go. I think will be pretty guard heavy after that. And then I think we'll see some a little bit of size later on in the draft. But I'm really looking forward to this NBA draft. I know the playoffs have been very exciting so far. The Knicks have been blowing people out. The Lakers
Knicks are
are
on
trying to
fire.
avoid a 3-0 sweep. Hopefully, this isn't the Kings' last game in a Lakers uniform or in any uniform, but we
He's
will have
playing
to
another
wait.
year. He's playing
Yeah,
another
I
year.
hope so too. I hope so too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this draft. NHL draft. Okay. Gavin McKenna went, but at least the NBA draft I'll follow a bit more.
Yeah.
But this is a great time of year. We got a couple of the sports prime time in terms of ending down, and then everything else is ramping back up as it seems. So we got. Did you have any more thoughts, or did you just want to rip an immaculate grid?
I actually have a discussion
Yeah, let's
here.
run it.
Pierce Morgan was on Talk Sport the other day saying that not only is Arsenal the best team in the world at the moment, but one of the greatest teams of all time, this current Arsenal squad. He said all 25, compared to all 25 squads of all time, they are arguably the best. I sent it to you on Instagram. But do you think you can name five teams in the world right now better than Arsenal?
Right now,
Right now,
five. Shit.
five.
Okay, well I could go
You can go Barcelona,
Barca and Bayern
Bayern, PSG.
and PSG. That's three.
Would you say City's better than Arsenal? Even though Arsenal is about to win the Prem, would you say City's better than Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean at this point, yes.
Okay, so that's four. Can you find a fifth team in the world right now better than Arsenal? No.
Come
No.
on.
No.
I don't know. Maybe probably Inter.
I no, they aren't better than Arsenal. They aren't better than
I think
Arsenal.
maybe they get top five, but
Madrid's not.
no,
Uh,
Madrid, dude, it's WWE in their locker room. I mean, they can't even get their starters on a football match, bro. They're going to the tables and shit.
okay, but we can officially say they aren't top three in the world.
No, Arsenal's not a top three team in the
There's
world. They're not a top three club in the world.
there's not a Prem team top three in the world.
I mean, it's
I think
very.
it's I think it's PSG, Bayern, Barca, and I think Barca. Obviously, they lost to Atletico, but I mean, did you if you watched them play against Real Madrid on the weekend? Oh my
Dude,
gosh!
the prime players had to ball out. Olivia Rodrigo was there. You know what that you know what that is.
I mean,
Rashford returned to his
they.
former self. Haven't seen him
Oh, what a
hit a
goal!
free kick like that in a minute. So
Faber again with a goal. The Wild defensemen are just scoring all the goals. That's nine for Faber and Hughes. Faber has 5 goals this playoffs. Unreal.
but yeah, with what Pierce Morgan was saying, Arsenal's not a top team. Not even just now, just like in any time. Like any time.
Uh, what'd you think of that West Ham disallowed goal?
I think at the end of the day,
Obviously it's a foul, but
at the end of the day,
it's
it's a
not been called a
foul.
foul.
At the end of the day, it's a foul. Um, Not sure really why it took so long.
Well,
They
this
spent
is
honestly they spent way too much time on the review.
yeah,
And if you need to slow it down that much,
and
then it
watch it
ain't then
20
it's not
times.
clear and obvious.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was a foul. The only problem I have with it, and I think a lot of fans could agree, is the fact that you can find multiple photos of Arsenal set pieces where they've scored, and they are doing the exact same thing to the opposing goalkeeper. They're always on top of him, grabbing him,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And I saw a whole bunch of photos of when the West Ham fouled Raya, and then it was Arsenal set pieces that they scored from, and it was almost like identical pictures. So it's just a tough one. I honestly would have just wanted it to be a tie, purely for the antics. I think that was what every football fan wanted
Oh,
to happen.
100%.
And with that getting disallowed, just absolute heartbreak there. I thought West Ham was doing great. I thought, yeah, I mean, I was really hoping they were going to hold it 0-0.
That Fernandez miss is gonna
Yeah.
hurt, but um
But we 2 games left, and 2 points back from safety.
yeah.
We can end we'll skip an immaculate grid this week. We'll just get
I wanted to bring up
your
Wemby.
your okay. We can hit West Ham and kill Wimby on the end here. Um, two
Uh
games left. How are we
I
feeling? I
they're going
know.
down. They're going
Okay,
down. I think
we got we
Tottenham's
got
gonna stay up,
we got Tottenham.
unfortunately.
Tottenham plays
Chelsea.
They play Chelsea and final match day home against Everton, and West Ham plays Newcastle and then Leeds on final match day. Leeds is already
Which
safe.
is two winnable games.
Leeds is already in safety. Tottenham's 2 points clear. Do we think is there a way
No, I don't think there is. Two
you think
winnable
West Ham's
games. I think I think it's done. I think it's official.
yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think it's done. I think
I
it's
would say
official.
probably a loss against Newcastle, draw against Leeds,
Mm.
but Tottenham
With
will
beat
Tottenham
Everton.
really just needs like
Is it
1 point.
Everton away or home?
It's Everton, but Everton's coming to uh it's home for
Oh yeah,
Tottenham.
Tottenham. I think Tottenham wins that game, last game of the season.
They it's a bit harder of a game, I'd say. Either way, a 60,000 seat stadium's going back down to the championship. So come on, isn't London great, man? But yeah, yeah, pretty. This is going to be a pretty good way to end the season. 2 games left, so I'm excited to see where things shake up and who gets relegated and who ends up getting promoted in that playoff. But you said you got one last thing about
lastly,
Wemby. Let's
do you think
cook it in.
Wemby's fine and no suspension is justice?
He got fined?
Or
I heard he got no fine.
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's
Okay.
no suspension and no fine justice for Wemby. Like, do you think that's what was needed, or was there action needed on that play? Because he looked Nas Reed in the eyes and
Yeah.
said,
There was 2 clips I saw from a previous elbowing incident. One was back in 2012. Ron Artest, a.k.a. Meta World Peace, absolutely put an elbow through the skull of James Harden and was suspended 7 games. However,
he
when
wasn't even
that
looking.
happened, I don't think that was in the playoffs. I think that might have been regular season. Not that could or should have any kind of
effect.
But the next one I saw was Hassan Whiteside. I believe it was him throwing an elbow, and he ended up getting a 1-game suspension for that. It's a tough call. The Spurs are in a pretty good spot. You want the Spurs Thunder to be.
I think
You want the Spurs Thunder in the Western Conference Finals because at this point you think it's going to be more exciting compared to a semi-healthy Timberwolves squad. However, at the end of the day, I still think he should have at least gotten a fine.
fine.
But
yeah.
honestly, I would have liked to see a 1-game suspension,
Well,
not just because I'm a Wolves fan, but I'm a fan of the people too. And I know the people love Ant-Man. You can't not love Ant-Man.
I think a fine to Wemby doesn't do anything to Wemby. Let's be honest. He's making so much money. But I think the NBA didn't want a suspension to decide the series at the end of the day. I think that was the big thing there.
No, that's fair. I get their point, but we'll have to see how it plays out because they're coming back. They're coming back to Target Center, and it's going to be loud.
Yeah.
So Wolves in 6, and this was episode 34 for the pod. See you next time.